Mom told me don't trust nobody. Yeah, mama, you sick. That's why I don't keep this heat for nothing. Drop me, then you get one. Plus one, and then a couple more. 30 shots when I am all done. Right. Stop them out, rap for my rap, feel my rap. When they got little pictures on my ankles. I drink that off my blood, yeah, angles. I go military bars with the angles.
What's up, Undroppables Nation? We're here back with another live stream. It's been a little bit since I've gotten the opportunity to live stream since last Friday. Ended up going on to a Shark Tank casting call for Fair Analytics. So it's been kind of a whirlwind. And then yesterday we had the Scott Fish Bowl live draft in DC. So we took a little bit of a break from the I like the spot. From the Best Ball Mania live streams, but we are back today with another Best Ball Mania live stream. And we've gone ahead and kind of updated some of our rankings. What's up, Help'em? How's it going? It's been a little bit. But we've updated some of our rankings because if any of you guys have been following along since the beginning of the live streams, my first model, I built it off of season-long projections. And so I have all of the season-long rankings right here in this first column. But then if you guys recall, I then built another model for points per game just to get an idea of like who has the highest ceiling on a weekly basis. And that's what this points per game model shows. And what I've done now is I've averaged the two models together so I can have a better idea of like where I should be thinking about each of these players in the aggregate. Although I do kind of lean a little bit more towards the points per game model because that's going to give us our ceilings and our spike weeks, which we're looking for, especially in Best Ball Mania. But this is how I've created this final rank column. Again, I know I've a little bit delinquent on the actual posting of the rankings. I'm going to go ahead and do that this week. I promise you guys. I'm going to post this onto the Undroppables website. But we have our new and basically finalized rankings, which I'm a very, very big fan of. So we're going to hope for some of our guys to fall to us here at the back end of the first round. Kind of crazy. In my Scott Fish Bowl draft yesterday, I was able to start. It's a super flex draft, like kind of quarterback premium, basically like every single position premium, tight end super premium. But I was able to get a Justin Fields, Jamar Chase start out of the 109. Went Justin Jefferson. Jamar Chase fell to the 2-4, so I ended up taking him there. And I love Jamar Chase in that sort of format. But we can go ahead and review that at another time. Let's focus on winning $3 million today. So out of the 111 here, I probably want to go. Do we want to go Amon-Ra St. Brown since he is wide receiver 3 in the model? I don't believe Cooper Kupp is falling, right? He already got taken. Yeah, Cooper Kupp definitely is not falling. So we could look for an Amon-Ra. I know in my Week 17 calculator, it does not love Amon-Ra this year. Because I said avoid Amon-Ra because this one sample size that he has against the Cowboys, I know it was only one game, but he ended up getting hurt in that game in Dallas. So I don't know. I might have to do a little bit more analysis around that. I think if Diggs falls to us, I think I'd want Diggs. I'm not super confident that Diggs is going to fall to us, but I like Diggs at that range. Bijan goes. Diggs got taken right before us. We could go Garrett Wilson because I'm a big fan of Garrett Wilson this year. Let's see. Garrett Wilson is the wide receiver 9 in this little setting right here. CeeDee Lamb. I don't love CeeDee Lamb at 111. I do like him, but I don't love him. So let's go ahead and grab Garrett Wilson with our first pick. I'm a big fan of Garrett Wilson this year. It should be a pretty consolidated offense around Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall should be huge benefactors in that offense. And then when it comes back, could go Amon-Ra or Jalen Waddle. I love both of them. The model loves Amon-Ra a little bit more. It loves both of them, but it loves Amon-Ra a little bit more for the points per game. And Amon-Ra is going to be absolutely a stud in the first 6 weeks of the season while Jameson Williams serves that suspension. And that kind of opens up the door where we could tap both of them. So let's go ahead and grab the Garrett Wilson Amon-Ra build here. Feels strong to get two like elite stud wide receivers. And I know like Garrett Wilson is set up to absolutely smash in that Week 17 matchup against the Browns. So I like the Week 17 potential hit with him. Amon-Ra St. Brown is kind of set to my projections have him disappointing a little bit. I know it's a super, super small sample, so I'm not like anchoring myself to that by any means. So I'm very happy with getting Amon-Ra here in the second round. I don't love Rodgers, and I don't think my model loves Rodgers. Let's see. Rodgers QB 17. Season long has him at QB 11, points per game at QB 22 for an average projection of QB 17. That feels about right for where Aaron Rodgers should be getting drafted. Jared Goff, we have a QB 13, or I guess tied for QB 13 with Geno Smith and Dak Prescott. But Jared Goff. So I do like taking Jared Goff, especially with having Amon-Ra. I think the one thing we have to watch out for is Jared Goff usually performs pretty terribly on the road, and especially in Dallas, he usually performs pretty terribly. So we're going to want to look for another Week 17 quarterback. One guy that is an option for us is like a Derek Carr. Derek Carr does tend to perform very, very well against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who he plays in Week 17. So that's someone that we can keep an eye on. But Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, about right. One thing which I am very wary on is Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if I love Patrick Mahomes in the range where he's going in. I don't think I'll be drafting too much Patrick Mahomes. I already have the Kelsey Patrick Mahomes. I have a few of those stacks, but I don't think I'm going to be drafting too much more of that this offseason. Deebo Samuel goes really early in this draft. That's the highest I've seen Deebo Samuel go in a long time. 3-1. That's kind of crazy. We have the CMC Tony Pollard start. I know I was shifting a lot towards this running back build. But I think I'm going back to the wide receiver build because wide receiver just feels very strong, especially at the back end of the first round. I know we could have grabbed one of the elite running backs. Like Nick Chubb would have fit the build pretty perfectly with the Garrett Wilson, Nick Chubb sort of bring back. But I think when Amon-Ra is on the board there, I think it's malpractice to pass on him at the beginning of the second round. Just because all of the data just speaks to him being very, very solid this year and just going to continue his ascension as an elite wide receiver. So I don't feel any which way about taking Amon-Ra here in the early second. Just need to grab some Week 17. We need to grab a Week 17 guy because Amon-Ra can be a guy to get us there, but I don't think Amon-Ra is going to be necessarily going to be a guy that's going to have that spike week in Week 17. That's what Garrett Wilson's for, but we're going to need to have another one. Maybe like an Odell. Odell fits really well there because I expect Odell to kind of go off. Michael Thomas is another one that I really like to go off in Week 17. But that kind of fits that Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas sort of build that I'm going to be going for in a lot of these sorts of drafts. Mark Andrews goes. I mean, if Josh Jacobs makes it to us, obviously we would love that. Josh Jacobs as our RB2. We could just go Jacobs Mixon just straight off the bat. Who else is there? The top guy that's on the board is probably Brandon Ayuk. But obviously, we're not going to take Brandon Ayuk here. J-Cap, if he times out, he would take Jacobs, but that would obviously not be great for him. All right, Lamar, fresh press, wide receiver. You're an experienced guy. You know you have to go wide receiver, fresh press. You know you have to go wide receiver. Pick 6. What do you mean by pick 6? Help him. Yeah, there you go. Give me Josh Jacobs. Kind of beautiful getting Josh Jacobs at 311. 7 picks after ADP. Goes Najee, Gibbs. So he double taps running back. Interesting spot for us here. Let's see our projections. Who does it love the most? Olave, Kirk, Jerry Jeudy, Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans. It's going to give us Ridley. All right, we're going to take Ridley here at 4-2. I don't love Ridley this year, but getting him at 4-2 feels really nice. I know none of my models like Calvin Ridley, Pretty sure Calvin Ridley is actually pretty low on this. Where's Ridley? Oh, Ridley might not even be in here. Yeah, Ridley's not even in these rankings. Ridley's just too. His range of outcomes is just so wide. But I think I want to have 106. Well, I think you and I both know that that's not what you should be doing. Please do not be drafting Michael Thomas at 106 in a best ball draft. But looks like I got Calvin Ridley a little bit after ADP. Calvin Ridley, 4th round, feels about right for where he should be going. And if it comes back, like obviously, if either of these ended up making it back to us, I don't think any of them are going to make it back to us. Like there goes Justin Fields at 4-5 over Joe Burrow. But I like this sort of range where these 4 guys goes. Terry McLaurin goes. If D-Hop falls to us, ETN, I don't expect any of these guys to make it to us 15 picks away. Herbert, no, it doesn't really make sense for this build, and I don't love him against Denver, in Denver. Dobbins could always work. Pittsburgh, Arizona. I need a little bit more Kittle. I don't have too much Kittle. JSN. What picks do I have for my next 2 picks? 59 and 62. So that would line up pretty perfectly with Trevor. So we could look at Trevor at that turn, especially because Trevor is Trevor kind of fits right in that range where you expect the like elite guys to like take that step forward. Like when Joe Burrow was on Liam Murphy's $2 million winning team a few years ago, or 2 years ago, took him in like the 6th round. And that feels like the money value area for an elite quarterback to make that ascension. And you're able to build out the front end of your roster really, really powerfully. So there goes Ayuk. So like if we could get Christian Kirk to fall back to us, which I don't imagine that he will, because he's probably top 4 on the board. We're 9 picks away. But there he goes, 5-2. But we could go like Trevor and like Evan Engram, something like that, because I think Evan Engram goes a little bit too late. And I'm just a big fan of Jacksonville this year. I think Jacksonville slept on. I wish I got some more Jacksonville players than Scott Fishbowl, but I have Tank Bigsby. That's a potential guy that I could get and I could feel pretty good about. For Helpham says, think both Herbert and Lawrence take a measure step forward this year. I agree. And I really like Herbert honestly, it's not even a step forward. It's like a return to his elite level of play, which I definitely can see from Justin Herbert. With Kellen Moore going over there, he has a QB2 finish in his past. I really like Herbert. But we're getting into a pretty nice value pocket here. I like a lot of these players in this range. There goes Hawkinson. I think the guy that makes the most sense, so Jacksonville, what does this say about the Jacksonville game? I know I don't have too much data for this Panthers-Jags game, but Ridley does have a pretty solid sample with 6 games against the Panthers. Christian Kirk has a smaller sample, but I like Ridley in that game against the Panthers. Chark versus the Jags, Thielen versus the Jags, and Miles Sanders versus the Jags, they all tend to go off. So I don't think I want Zay Jones against the Panthers. It's not a Week 17 play, but Zay Jones could be good throughout the year. Okay, I think I'll take one of these 3 running backs that fall, whichever one's there for me. Oh, I wanted Mixon. All right, we'll take Kenneth Walker, though. Kenneth Walker at 5'11" is just a little bit too late. And it feels good to get him as our RB2. My model is decent on Kenneth Walker. Where is he? Kenneth Walker is RB18. Season long has him as RB10. Points per game as RB30. I think that's just speaks a lot to his variance for his touchdowns. They're kind of all over the place. So I feel good getting Dameon Pierce there. So Deontay Johnson, JSN go. I think we'll probably go Trevor as our quarterback. Because we have our 2 running backs, we have our 3 wide receivers, and then Trevor as our QB1 feels pretty good. Get his correlation with Calvin Ridley. I like that. And Trevor is our QB8 in our model. And then I don't think Daniel Jones really fits this team. Maybe we could look at him later. But Trevor should be very, very good this year, and I like getting him on this roster. So this feels like a great team that we've built so far. The Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker start feels pretty strong too as our running back room. And then the Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra, Calvin Ridley wide receiver room feels really, really strong. Later on, we'll look to grab guys like, I mean, if for whatever reason, if Goddard falls, obviously we'll take Goddard. Love me some Swift Monty as well. If Goddard goes, Darren Waller's there. What pick do we have? We're at the 83, 86 range. Let's see. Who else? James Conner in this range. Help him ask, do you think more going to Bears will strengthen Fields' QB play like Brown did for Hurts? This is kind of a beautiful question, perfectly timed after my Scott Fishbowl draft yesterday. Help him. So had the live draft. We're actually still in the middle of the draft right now. I guess I could do this right now. And we had the 109. And kind of one thing which I've like kind of noticed is one thing that us at Fair Analytics, like we're very good at recognizing patterns. And there's a kind of a perfect pattern building up where a few years ago, Josh Allen, phenomenal rusher, kind of a okay passer of the football. And how far are we? We're still 11 picks away. And he gets his wide receiver one, Stephon Diggs. What happens? He ascends into an elite MVP level tier of quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts, 2 years ago, I guess last year, was considered a phenomenal rusher of the football, kind of a mid passer. He gets wide receiver one, AJ Brown. What happens? He goes to an MVP level sort of quarterback tier. Justin Fields, phenomenal rusher of the football, kind of a mid passer, gets wide receiver one, DJ Moore. You tell me what's going to happen. I'm not entirely sure, but it feels strong. It feels strong. So we drafted Justin Fields here at 109, and then we stacked on DJ Moore down here at 6'9". So that felt pretty good. I'm one away from being on the clock. I think I know exactly who I want to grab here. But our team so far is Justin Fields, Jamar Chase, Daniel Jones, Jahmyr Gibbs, Darren Waller. It's a tight end super premium, as you can see with Travis Kelce going 104, Mark Andrews going 111. Darren Waller, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, Christian Watson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Quentin Johnston, Rashad Penny. That's our roster so far. I'm making a big bet on the Fields DJ Moore connection to be absolutely huge this year. And I like the Daniel Jones, Darren Waller connection a lot this year as well. But looks like a lot of the guys which we were looking at kind of have gone. I think I'll get Darren Waller more so on my I guess I could go Darren Waller here. We could also wait and maybe Evan Engram falls to pick 107. That's a pretty big fall for him. But Darren Waller's what? Only 3 picks after ADP. Let's see. We could go bring back on Amon-Ra with Brandon Cooks. We could go bring back with Brandon Cooks. Because Week 17 calculator for that Cowboys-Lions game, it likes Cooks. He's got 5 games against the Lions. Let's go Brandon Cooks. I know we're going to miss out on Tony Pollard, but let's get Brandon Cooks. He's the last receiver in this kind of tier. And I like grabbing some of the receivers here. We could also go Michael Thomas in this range because he should go off. And as our wide receiver 5, that feels pretty good. I do really like James Conner in this range. I like DeAndre Swift. So I'm debating between Michael Thomas and James Conner. We'll see if Out with Luck makes our decision for us. I think since Dallas Goedert wasn't here, I'm not going to do the DeAndre Swift. I think I would have liked. All right, so Darren Waller does get taken. We're going to hope for Evan Engram to fall back to us in that elite tier. I do really like Jameson Williams in this range as well. But if we pass on the running back, let's see. There's also there's a pretty solid running back tier after here too. James Conner does have that super high ceiling. So it's kind of trying to balance those two things. Zay Flowers goes. So Connor does land to me. We could go. Okay, we have 7,997 here. Michael Thomas or JMO. Michael Thomas or JMO. Ooh, this is really interesting. I think we're gonna go James Conner and then see, because I took Brandon Cooks in the front end. We're gonna go James Conner here and see if any of our guys are gonna be able to fall to us. I like James Conner as our RB3 here. I know I passed on DeAndre Swift. I just drafted DeAndre Swift yesterday, so let's go with James Conner today, and hope for one of these other guys to fall back to us. Let's see. Gibson, Kamara, Fryermuth, Sky, Rashad, Odell, Damian Harris, A-Chain. Don't want Zay on this team. I guess I could use Zay on this team. Zay's pretty good. Jacoby, Jamal, Chigo. Russ Dulcich. Tank. Michael Thomas gets taken. Oh. Okay. Well, looks like something just popped up, guys. So I'm going to stop streaming real quick, and I'll be right back. All right. I'm sorry, but give me a second. Okay, sorry about that delay, guys. Was on a pretty important meeting, so couldn't miss that one. But you guys are just as important, so we're right back at it. Russell Wilson goes 108, so I don't know what's happening in this draft already. Let's see what happened in the chat. Oh, Steven, MT is trash. MT will have a phenomenal week 17 though. Stamp. T-Law rocket ship, yeah. T-Law rocket ship to space. What up, Steven? How you doing today? Glad you guys can make it on the stream today. Sorry, I had about like 30 minutes of dead air, but you guys at least got to see how the draft went. I'll have to go back in a little bit and we'll review exactly how the rest of that draft went because I'm drafting and on my meeting at the same time. So a little bit of multitasking there. But Russell Wilson at the 108 today. That's spicy. Hopefully the draft doesn't get canceled. If he goes quarterback in the second round, then I have a feeling that it's going to get canceled. But we'll see. All right, AJ Brown 111. So kind of what I'm planning here is based off of just like everything that I have, all the analysis that I've done, is telling me, okay, we go wide receiver in the first round. I'm just going to refresh this because it's being a little bit slow. Let's close some of this other stuff too because it's being slow. Close Google Docs. Okay, but AJ Brown 111. What is 112 going to do? Mr. Red Badge goes C Lamb. Okay, but we're going to try to hope for. We have Stephon Diggs. We're going to hope for a running back. Kind of the build that I like to go with is we go wide receiver in the first round, and then we find the value pocket of running back in the second round. Let me pull something up for you guys from my analysis back over here. I think it was in my baby. I think it's in this notebook. Yeah, right here. We can see that the wide receiver market is pretty efficient. It's pretty steep line over here. We're gonna try to get as much of the value from wide receiver that we can. So that's why we're grabbing Diggs in the first round. Whereas running back it slowly tapers off. So we can find value in like this pocket right here. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Is I'm going to be trying to find the pocket of that value right there. Let's see, Devontae Adams, Nick Chubb. Okay. Quarterbacks, obviously, it falls up kind of steeply too, but it's a little bit later. So we're going to try to grab our quarterback in this range. And then tight end is pretty flat across until pick 50. And then it falls off a little bit, but we'll maybe look to try to grab an elite tight end as well. We'll see how the room falls to us, but it's very helpful that Russell Wilson went in the first round. I really hope he doesn't go quarterback again in the second round because then that probably means that this draft could potentially get scrapped because then I kind of have a feeling that he would go just quarterback through 6 rounds, and that means that the draft would definitely get scrapped. So we'll see what Duke Make does here. As long as he doesn't go quarterback, then we know that we're live. If he goes quarterback, then we know that this draft is probably dead. So fingers crossed because I like when someone goes crazy. I like when someone goes completely contrarian off script because that allows us to get more value. So Duke Make, go with another player that is not a quarterback, please. If he times out, he goes Jalen Waddle, and that's perfectly fine because then that's not another quarterback. He does quarterback. Okay, this draft might get thrown out, unless he's for whatever reason goes a different route. I don't know what's going to happen with this draft, but we're gonna draft it like this draft is gonna be live. So we're gonna try to build as strong a team as possible with the value that's falling to us from Duke Make going a little wild, especially with Russell Wilson in the first round. I really hope that this doesn't get thrown out because I like Patrick Mahomes too. So, that makes sense. We're gonna go Tony P. I know we could go Taylor or Saquon, but Tony P feels like he has the most upside, and I love him for week 17. I do really like JT for week 17 as well, and Saquon honestly too. But Tony P was in my head. Let's go Tony P right here as our RB1. So love having Tony Pollard. We're going to try to see if Josh Allen makes it back to us. But the fact that 3 quarterbacks have already went, I don't feel great about Josh Allen making it back to us. So since that is the case, we could look to go elite tight end. We could go Mark Andrews there. We'll see. We'll see how this falls. But here comes the running back run. Feels pretty normal that a running back run usually happens at the back end of the second. So we'll see how it falls out to us. But I like it so far. As long as Duke Make doesn't go quarterback again, because if he goes quarterback again, then it's definitely getting thrown out. Josh Jacobs, Jive, Florida Jive. I don't know how do you pronounce that. He probably goes Jalen Waddle because there's no way Jalen Waddle ever falls to the Jamar Chase owner. That'd be pretty crazy. So he gets a little Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave if he wants it. I'm really curious to see what he does because, yeah, Jalen Waddle makes a lot of sense. He definitely should have gone Jalen Waddle. So, I mean, this guy's already building out a monster, but because Duke Make went with a double quarterback, I have a feeling this draft is going to get thrown out. But Jive went, okay, yeah, he built out the Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave, super, super powerful wide receiver room. Oops. Don't know why that happened just now. But we got to hope that this doesn't get thrown out. He goes Josh Allen, so I got sniped on my Josh Allen stack. That's okay. We're gonna keep building out this team like it's gonna ride. So we'll try to go. I mean, the problem is if we go Mandrews here, then he probably gets sniped before it gets back to us. But Mr. Lamar gets sniped, I mean. But maybe we can just draft Mark Andrews and hope that Lamar does make it back to us. Because this draft is really, really weird. Hopefully this guy goes like T. Higgins, and then UO Mark goes like DK Metcalf, something like that. But would feel pretty good to get Mark Andrews there. I think he is just as much in play for tight end 1 as Travis Kelce is. Breece Hall goes. So hopefully UO Mark goes T. Higgins. Because T. Higgins has slipped a pretty decent amount. He goes Ramondre. We'll let T. Higgins continue to slide. We're going to grab Mark Andrews here. And then we're going to hope that Lamar Jackson falls back to us. Fingers crossed. Because we love Lamar. We think Lamar's going to be phenomenal. 7 ends up getting T. Higgins. So he's going Patrick Mahomes, T. Higgins, Travis Kelce. Duke Make. If he goes quarterback, it's definitely thrown out. 100%. If he goes quarterback, it's thrown out. He probably just queued up like a bunch of quarterbacks, just like let's mess up this draft and make sure that we're just wasting an hour of everybody's day. And if this guy goes quarterback again, then I'll probably end the live stream here because the draft is definitely getting thrown out. And I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. D-Hop. Okay, so this is in play. I am very curious how this draft is going to go now because this draft is probably live with him going 2 quarterbacks and then wide receiver. Maybe he thinks it's super flex. I don't know. But because we have the team that we do, this is really interesting because if Lamar doesn't make it to us, then maybe we go like Najee. So Jahmyr Gibbs just goes. Could go like Najee and try to build out like Pittsburgh, Seattle. So we'd go for like Geno Smith. We'd go for Kenny Pickett. We could also go like, let's see, we'd be at pick 43. We could go Drake London. We could go Jerry Jeudy. I think I'd go Jerry Jeudy over Drake London because I like that Denver offense to really take a step forward this year. If Calvin Ridley falls to us again, I think he's the pick. We could also look at like a DJ Moore, Justin Fields, like we were talking about earlier today. We like Brandon Ayuk. So we'll see. We'll see how it lies. Word Up is up. He went Nick Chubb, AJ Brown, Deebo Samuel. He feels like a Keenan Allen sort of guy. He looks like he's going like a little bit of an older sort of, but he goes Calvin Ridley, so same realm. Mr. Renegades went Joe Mixon. B-Tag. He has Austin Eckler, Amon-Ra, DK Metcalf. He feels like a Christian Watson sort of guy. So B-Tag, take Christian Watson, please. That would be pretty beautiful if you take Christian Watson. I would be very happy if he took Christian Watson because I do not want Christian Watson. He goes Najee. Duke Make. Is he going to throw our draft out? Let's see if Duke Make throws our draft out. Oh, Duke Make, it all lies on you. The fate of the world rests in Duke Make's hands with his Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts, DeAndre Hopkins start. please go like Christian Watson. Christian Watson would be pretty nice for your team. I think that Christian Watson could go very, very well with that sort of build. He goes Cam Akers. Okay, 7. You know who you want to go? Oh my God, guys, this might be the one. This might be the one, guys. This might be the one. We started off Lamar Jackson, Tony Pollard, Stephon Diggs, Mark Andrews. I thought this draft was going to get thrown out, and it still possibly could. But a Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews stack in the 3-4 is exactly what we need to win the $3 million. And the fact that we started off our draft with Stephon Diggs, Tony Pollard feels strong. So we're going to lean a little bit more into our Week 17 calculator for this specific build because I really, really love the way that we've already built it so far. Looking at our Week 17 dashboard, number one game, Ravens Dolphins. We want as many pieces of that offense or as that game as we can. Unfortunately, we did not get Jalen Waddle. I know we had Jalen Waddle as a potential guy that we could have taken here, but Mr. Tony Pollard. We could also look at the Detroit-Dallas game because Detroit and Dallas, whenever they play, the Cowboys shit on the Lions. So I'm looking to get like Dak, Cooks, Tony Pollard. I don't need Dak anymore because I already have Lamar Jackson. So we'll look at Cooks as the stacking partner for Tony Pollard, and we're going to look at Jameson Williams bring back. So this is a super exciting build that we're going with. My first Lamar, Mark Andrews 3-4 stack that I've been able to get in a long time. I think we don't have many of them. And so this could be the draft. Brindy, this could be the draft. 3 million. This could be the draft. I'm feeling it. All the stars are aligning for this one. Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Tony P, Stephon Diggs. If we could get like Ayuk to fall to us too, oh my God, we are going to the moon. Or Drake London, that'd be beautiful too. We'll unstar Justin Fields. But, also could grab Mr. J.K. Dobbins. I think we want to go wide receiver before the running back, though. What's our second biggest game? Seahawks Steelers. We could look at the Seahawks Steelers game. This is the DJ Moore owner. Oh, this guy. Okay, so yeah, this guy's building on a really strong team as well. This guy is going to be our biggest competition probably because he got Fields, ETN, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave. So his receiver room is stacked. So we're going to look to probably try to get our receiver room close to him. Luckily, these three guys are all available for us. Ayuk is the number one guy on our board. If it has to be Christian Kirk, it's going to be Christian Kirk. Mike Williams also has that sort of upside. So Mike Williams also could be a decent play. Where's Mike Williams on our list? He's a little bit lower. He's at wide receiver 24. Alexander Madison, don't love that. Brandon Ayuk is definitely the play here because he does well in Week 17 against the Washington Commanders, and he's our wide receiver 12. So if Ayuk is there, he is there. So let's go ahead and grab Mr. Brandon Ayuk. That feels really good. I know I passed on Mike Williams, Christian Kirk for the ADP value, but from our analysis, we've shown that ADP value doesn't matter as much as just drafting the right players. So Brandon Ayuk just feels like we're drafting the right player. That feels very, very strong to get Brandon Ayuk there in the mid-fifth. So this team feels like we're building it out very, very well. For whatever reason, Christian Kirk makes it back to us. Obviously, we're going to be taking Christian Kirk at 6'7". Who else? Let's see. Ayuk, Christian Kirk, those are the top two guys. Jerry Jeudy, I think he's already long gone. Terry McLaurin's already long gone. We could look at Mike Evans. Michael Pittman. We could look at like a Mike Evans with like a Michael Thomas bring back, that sort of thing. What running backs are here? Mixon's, I saw Mixon go a while ago. Mixon went at 4-1. When it comes back to us, we'll probably go wide receiver or running back. Wow, this team is exciting. Okay. Deontay, where's Deontay in the ranks? Actually, Deontay wasn't great, so we're not going to look at Deontay. Hollywood is a potential option. Always love me some JSN. Michael Pittman's a nice option as well. Traylon Burks, Mike Evans, always nice to see them. Damian Pierce is a nice option. Because our top guys, let's close that. Damian Pierce ranks in at RB 16. Points per game, we have him at RB 10. He could be just some pretty solid, just like floor production. We're obviously going to try to get Lenny later on. Try to tack on Mr. Kamara. James Conner is a nice option as well. Also could look at Swift, Monty, Algier, Gibson, Dalvin Cook. Aaron Jones is a little bit lower, but Aaron Jones goes right there. Rashad White, 6'1". Okay. So this guy's going a little wild too. I'm happy that there's multiple people going wild in this draft, and we are going to benefit from that. This team feels quite strong. Duke Make went completely haywire with the Russell Wilson 108 pick, and somehow we got Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews to fall to us. And we've also got the Stephon Diggs, Tony Pollard, Brandon Ayuk build around them. So it looks like we can target. We have the Baltimore-Miami game. Like these could be the top 2 scorers from that game. So I like having that. We're going to also look to tack on some of the Baltimore receivers a little bit later on. But we have the Dallas-Detroit game. So we could look at like Monty a little bit later on. Hollywood is sliding. Who is the top player that we want to take here? I know Mike Evans sucks in Week 17 against the New Orleans Saints. But maybe I can make up for that by Mike Evans should be solid throughout the year, and then we can just tack on. Like Mike Evans. Like Mike Evans is going to suck Week 17, like guaranteed. Is it overrated? We're going to go receiver here. Do we want Hollywood or JSN? Hollywood feels like the best pick here. What does our model think about Hollywood? Hollywood, it's okay. I don't think I can pass up Mike Evans. Mike Evans or JSN? Grab Mike Evans. I like having Mike Evans here. He's not the Week 17 play that we need, but the model just like, he's going to produce. It's Mike Evans. It doesn't feel great drafting Mike Evans. I'm not going to lie. Like I don't love drafting Mike Evans. But it feels wrong to not draft Mike Evans. So there we go. We're taking Mike Evans. Later on, we're going to look at DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, James Conner, all those boys. If JSN makes it back to us, that would be crazy. We'd have to go JSN then. Just go elite upside. And I think we're going to handcuff Tony Pollard because Tony Pollard does have injury risk. But I want the Dallas #1 running back. Whoever's the Dallas running back is going to put up points. Guarantee it. But our wide receivers are Diggs, Ayuk, Mike Evans. Feels wild to get Mike Evans this late. In BBM especially, where you don't have to decide when to start Mike Evans. Oops. But looks like we took our wide receiver right in the wide receiver run. JSN goes, Javonte. Duke Make ended up going George Kittle. We went Mike Evans. Traylon Burks. I know Mike Evans isn't as much of a ceiling play, but I think that's okay because we have ceiling elsewhere. And I think I want Monty on this team. Monty or Swift? Monty or Swift? Montgomery and Swift. They're literally tied. I don't have enough Montgomery, so let's draft Montgomery here. David Montgomery as our RB2. Feels pretty good, 7th round. Team so far, Lamar Jackson, Tony Pollard, David Montgomery, Stephon Diggs, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Evans, Mark Andrews. David Montgomery behind that Detroit Lions offensive line. Give me that all day. And then our next pick, let's see. We're getting right into that range. We could go Cooks. We're going to want to get a wide receiver, that's for sure. I know Steven said Michael Thomas is trash, but Michael Thomas is supposed to pop off. And then we'll go rookie upside later on. You about to head over, Wendy? Yeah. Okay. I'll be there after I finish live streaming. Okay. But let's see. Jahan Dotson. Wow. Duke Make is just going completely off script. I've never seen a draft like Duke make, but I am thankful that he is in this draft with me because that's allowing just straight value to fall to us. Monty feels really good. We're probably going to want to tack on a few more wide receivers. Yeah, I mean, we're just going to be drafting wide receivers and running backs until the late rounds. DeAndre Swift goes. I think if Connor's there for us, we're going to want to take Connor. If he's not, we'll go Rashad Bateman or Zay Flowers. Could go Michael Thomas as well. Gibson's a guy that we could always look at because we have Brandon Ayuk, have a little bring back action there. Rashad Penny is a guy that we could look at. Sky Moore is a potential breakout candidate. Odell Juju, guys that I like as well. Damian Harris, week 17. A-Chain is the bring back on the Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews build. Zay Jones is a guy that could pop off every now and then. Jacoby Myers has decent upside. Let's see, who else? I think we want to pass on that range. Oh, yeah, Russell Wilson went super early, so can't get him. Kendre Miller, Tank Bigsby, Tyler Algier, Roshan, Alec Pierce, Gerald Everett. So this is probably when we can start looking at the other positions. Marvin Mims, Kyler Murray is a guy we could take a look at. Who's been going? Kirk Cousins goes kind of early. Surprised Kirk Cousins went. He went Dak Kirk. Not sure why, but he does. Darren Waller, Elijah Moore, Quentin Johnston, Dallas Goedert. Okay. So it looks like James Conner might make it back to us, which would feel really good. Brandon Cooks also looks like he's going to make it back to us. Calvin Austin. So Duke make is just – I hope this draft does not get canceled because it's one of my only Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews teams. So we're going to go either James Conner, Brandon Cooks, or Rashad Bateman. James Conner. I think we want to go James Conner. I think that's our top guy. James Conner, RB3. Feels like a really strong running back room right now. Tony P, David Montgomery, James Conner. And then we'll grab another wide receiver at pick 102. I think whichever one falls of Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Michael Thompson, Jamison Williams, or Brandon Cooks, honestly. Any one of those 5 wide receivers, whichever one falls. So it looks like we're going to miss on Kamara, but that's okay because of the room we have. And then we'll probably tack on Kamara's buddy like Kendre Miller or Jamal Williams later on because we won't miss on him. But I think Michael Thomas just went. Okay, there's a little bit of a wide receiver avalanche, and while they're all going that way, I'm going the other way, and I just took the running backs. I don't know if that was the right play, but I like getting David Montgomery and James Conner on this team. Hopefully it switches back right around this range because both of these guys double tap wide receiver. We'll hope that the wide receiver avalanche stops and we're able to get our guy at 102. We'll see exactly how it plays out, but I feel good about it. I feel good about it right now. Here's goes some running backs. I like it. We got probably 2 of the highest upside guys in that range, in particular with David Montgomery in the 7th and James Conner in the 8th. So I like our running back room a lot with Tony Pollard, David Montgomery, James Conner. Feels like a correct way to play it. And then we'll go for a week 17 upside a little bit later on. Tua goes in the 8th round as the Jalen Waddle stack. That's fine. But I'm glad that the wide receiver avalanche looks to have given a little bit of a pause so that we can take our wide receiver here at 102. And then we're going to build out our wide receiver room as we go on. Deshaun Watson. Okay, so his team is probably dead. He goes 3 quarterbacks in the first 9 picks. I'm glad that he went that route because his team was looking very, very scary through the first 5 or through the first 7. He kind of went haywire on the 8th, 9th, so I'm glad that happened. Bruisers out of the 1. He's got a decent team, a lot of running backs, solid. Kim Take, he has a good team, no quarterback or tight end yet. Himothy, no quarterback or tight end yet. I'm glad that the running backs are going. Brandon Cooks goes, that's fine. Himothy, Mark, 7. Okay. I like our team the most so far. We just got to keep building it out. A lot of wide receivers open for us here. And I love Baltimore this year. Alvin Kamara goes, okay. Well, we weren't building around Alvin Kamara, so that's good. We're already going the Detroit Dust. There's no data on JMO. Rashad Bateman goes. Do we want to go JMO or Zay Flowers? This is a tough one. I think I'm going to go JMO, and then the wide receiver that we're going to take is, you know who. But Jamison Williams just offers unreal upside. And I like betting on this Detroit team. So we'll go Jamison Williams. I have a lot of Zay Flowers already. I don't have a Zay Flowers on a Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson team, but I think that there's another particular player that I'm going to want. Okay, Duke Mako's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's going – I don't know what he's doing, honestly. He's donating money. He's donating money to the stream. But we got JMO as our wide receiver 4. I think JMO is just an absolute stud, and it's crazy that I'm able to get him in the 9th round where some of these other guys are going. I'm going to need my first 3 wide receivers, obviously, to put up some points, but I like that the players that we have are Diggs, Ayuk, and Evans. Evans might be a little volatile, though, so I'm definitely going to be looking to add some of these other early wide receivers. But our team looks really strong, guys. Really, really strong. This might be my favorite Best Ball Mania team that I've drafted to date, and I'm only halfway through. So I'm going to just continue to stay focused, stay locked in, and hope for certain guys to fall. MJB gets Zay Flowers at a 10-pick value. That feels probably really good to him, especially he's got the Bijan Jameer stack with Pierce Swift. He's got a great running back room, solid wide receiver room. Who is this tight end? Darren Waller, solid tight end. He just has no quarterback yet, but he's definitely going to be a guy that we're going to be competing against. We need to beef up the wide receiver room. That's going to be our number 1 priority right now. But this team looks really solid, guys. Really, really solid. It was Tony Pollard season, so that's why we got Tony Pollard. It's James Conner season, that's why I have James Conner. Monty season, Lamar season, Diggs season, Ayuk season, Mike Evans, JMO, Mark Andrews. Come on. Come on. I really hope they don't cancel this draft. This guy goes 3 QBs through 10. Don't love that either. But we're going to go bring back on Mike Evans because Mike Evans is not – I promise you guys, Mike Evans is not doing anything week 17. So plan for that. You definitely need to plan for that. I promise you, Mike Evans is not doing anything week 17. Definitely need to plan for that. So as we are planning for Mike Evans to put up nothing in week 17, on the opposite end, we're planning for one particular player to absolutely go off in week 17. So as long as he falls to me, I'm not going to say his name because people love to snipe. Oh, and he got sniped. Freaking Duke Make, the dude who's going completely haywire, ends up sniping us on Odell Beckham. That is wild. Holy shit. Whatever. That's okay. We're not going to let it phase us. We're going to go between either Sky Moore or Juju. I think Juju's getting a little slept on. I actually like Juju for this build. Juju has solid upside week 17 too. And he's a nice little bring back against the Bills versus Pats. We have this built out. We have Diggs and we have D-Hop. Juju actually has pretty solid. He has a solid sample size against the Bills too. So let's go Juju Smith-Schuster. Feels good to get Juju as our wide receiver 5. I was really hoping that it was going to be Odell, but I will allow Juju Smith-Schuster to fall to us. I don't know what my model thinks of Juju. He's got to be above that, right? Oh, yeah. The model has Juju at wide receiver 45. So he doesn't offer a ton of upside, but I like him for week 17. Landon says weather should be cold in week 17. That's fine. Ballers can still ball in cold weather. So we'll take Juju there. It's definitely going to be cold in Buffalo. So, but I do like Juju. He's got a 3-game sample. Devontae Parker's a 15-game sample with a 13-point put up on on that. But D-Hop, I do really like D-Hop in that game as well. Unfortunately, we did not get D-Hop. But I like the entire Pats offense in general this year. And I'm going to probably try to get like Mac Jones last round. I don't think they have the same bye week, do they? Yeah, they don't have the same bye week. So we could try for that sort of build. But at our next pick, if Sky Moore is there, maybe we go Sky Moore, or Damian Harris week 17 is also a pretty fun one because Damian Harris week 17 revenge game. I like that narrative. I like the revenge game narrative. Devin A-Chain as the bring back on Lamar and Mark Andrews is also a really fun pick. So I'm definitely going to go either Sky, Damian Harris, or Devin A-Chain. I'm just deciding which one is the correct route for this particular team. I don't think I need Sky on this team. I think I'll look to get Sky on different teams. I don't think I necessarily need to bet on Sky in this. I do think Sky is going to be phenomenal this year, but I don't think I need to bet on him in this range. And I could look for Damian Harris or Devin A-Chain. Damian Harris does match up. Damian Harris got taken. So we're going either A-Chain or Sky Moore. I think I want my RB4 before my wide receiver 6. Let's go Devin A-Chain. Devin A-Chain offers that bring back on Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson. And A-Chain is someone that I really like to boom in this Dolphins offense. Because when A-Chain got drafted, King Cap. How's it going, King Cap? King Cap, look at this team that we were able to build so far. We have Lamar Jackson, Tony Pollard, David Montgomery, James Conner, Devin A-Chain, Stephon Diggs, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Evans, J-Mo, Juju, and Mark Andrews. This team feels very, very strong. And A-Chain offers us that perfect bring-back ability with Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. I got sniped on every single one of I let Zay Flowers fall. I took J-Mo over Zay Flowers. And then I wanted Odell Beckham. But Mr. Duke Make over here, who drafted Russell Wilson at 108, took Marquez Valdez-Scantling in the 7th, Calvin Austin in the 8th, Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the 9th, ended up sniping me on Odell. I can't believe out of all people, Duke Make sniped me on the Odell Beckham pick. Ended up taking Juju instead. But that felt really, really gross, and I couldn't believe that happened. But, hey, we bounced back. We got Juju. We got Devin A-Chain. Feels good. And we're going to see who falls to us at our next pick. We have a few options. I think I want to go wide receiver again, but I don't love any of the wide receiver options here. We could look at actually Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup is an interesting pick in this range. Let's see where Michael Gallup falls in the Dallas game. Oops. Michael Gallup, 8 points, 3-game sample, 3.7 reception, 64 receiving yards. I don't love that. Tank Bigsby goes. Maybe we'll just go for Kendre. Just go for the double running back tap because Kendre Miller has just elite upside. Just double tap the rookies in this range, the rookie running backs, and then we'll be done with drafting running back. And then we'll go back to wide receiver. I think this is kind of I think the only player that I would consider over Kendre Miller is Michael Gallup because he has pretty solid upside and he fits the build. I do want Marvin Mims though. Maybe that leans me towards Kendre. I think I'm going to go Kendre. As long as 7 and Duke Make don't take him. Rashee Rice, Khalil Herbert. I think we're going to go Kendre here to have a really, really solid running back room. So let's go ahead and draft Kendre Miller. And then as it comes back around, we're going to hope, let's see, would we be reaching super far at 150? 161, I think that's fine. I think I'm hoping that Michael Gallup gets taken so I don't have to make that decision. And then we'll go either Alec Pierce or Marvin Mims for our 6th wide receiver. This feels like a 2-6-8-2 build, though. 2-6-8-2 should feel pretty nice. Maybe we'll go like Gesicki, Mac Jones as our two late quarterback tight end stack. Because our running back room feels really solid. We'll probably tack on Leonard Fournette at the end. And then the last 3 other picks are all going to be wide receivers. How do I want to build this? Shaheed with Evans. Shaheed is definitely a potential play. Let's see if there's any other guys that I could take. None of those guys are available. We're 6 picks away. Sterling Shepard, 9 points. It's not great. Brandon Cooks got taken. Shows Pierce. Don't love any receivers in that game. Could go Corey Davis. Corey Davis is a pretty solid sleeper option. We are going to go Marvin Mims because the Denver Broncos tend to perform pretty well against the Chargers, especially at home. So we could go Marvin Mims at our next pick, and I think I want to go Marvin Mims at my next pick. That game's kind of gross. Could look at Rondale. Rondale is actually decent against the Eagles. Devontae Adams is phenomenal. Renfro is solid against the Colts. Bills versus Pats. Oh, yeah, Devontae Parker is phenomenal against the Bills. Over a 15-game sample. That's kind of wild. Could look at Parker. DJ Chark and Adam Thielen are decent options as well. Miles Sanders always goes off. Bucks versus Saints. Kamara. Shaheed has an 11.5. It's only a 1-game sample, but that's pretty solid. So Shaheed could be in play. We have Ayuk. Dotson's in play. Dotson got taken a while ago. Donta Foreman is someone that is definitely in play. We'll see. Michael Gallup is taken. Thank God. I don't have to make that decision. I think I'm going to just reach on Marvin Mims because he's my guy that I want to have on any of these rosters because Marvin Mims, I think, is just a huge breakout candidate. Again, need guys to fill in because the JMO Marvin Mims probably going to start off slow. Jameson Williams, obviously, because he's going to miss the first 6 weeks. So we're going to grab 2 other receivers who are definitely going to be solid producers. If Alec Pierce falls back to us, Alec Pierce would be the option. DJ Chark falls back to us, DJ Chark would be the option. Rashid Shaheed is a nice option as well. DPJ, Curtis Samuel offers a nice option with the Brandon Ayuk bring back. We added Marvin Mims. Hunter Renfro is a guy that I like as well. He offers a nice little floor, nice little weekly floor. Devontae Parker, Mac Jones. Let's see who else is down here. Don't want Terrace. Don't really want Chase Claypool anymore. Marvin Jones is an interesting option with Jameson Williams. Just could add both of them. That is definitely interesting. Corey Davis, like we said, is a pretty big sleeper because he should be pretty solid in Week 17. He tends to do pretty well against the Browns. So I like Corey Davis as a 18th round option. Let's see, where's Mr. Lenny? Lenny's right here. We'll add it. We'll bump him up a little bit. Let's see. Love Jake Ferguson. He offers a nice little bring back on the Jameson Williams, Dave Montgomery. We could attack that Dallas game a little bit more by adding Jake Ferguson if we end up mixing out on Mike Gesicki. Where's Gesicki? Gesicki's risen to 183. Okay. Roshan's still on the board. Alec Pierce. Van Jefferson's having a pretty big slide. Alec Pierce is really interesting because I really like that Las Vegas-Indianapolis game Week 17. It's a dome. Alec Pierce is a second-year player that those second-year players that we like to bet on to break out. And people are just hating on the Indianapolis Colts passing game right now because they don't believe in Anthony Richardson. But I think Anthony Richardson is a fine quarterback. I think he's going to have the exact same career arc as a lot of these other rushers. Like take Jalen Hurts, for example, and Shane Steichen's his coach, and Shane Steichen was Alec Pierce got taken. Shane Steichen was the coach for Anthony Richardson. I think Shaheed is a solid option now without Pierce getting taken. Where's Shaheed on here? I think Shaheed is in a decent range. Wide receiver 69. 69, very nice. 63 in points per game. That's probably well over Van Jefferson, right? Oh, 73. Points per game, a little bit higher. He does have that explosive playability. Another one of those second-year wide receivers. And I do like the Saints offense. Shaheed could be like a nothing, but I think I'm okay with betting on Shaheed here, especially with a nice little bring back against Mike Evans. The only other pick that I truly like here is Donta Foreman, but I think I want to tack Lenny on to this team, and I don't have any Chicago or Atlanta players. So I think Shaheed is the right option here. He's the top of our queue. He's right at ADP. So let's go ahead and tap Rashid Shaheed as our 7th wide receiver. Has decent upside. And then our 8th wide receiver, we could probably tack on Mr. Devontae Parker. So we're going to want to get Mac Jones first because we already have Juju. So adding Mac Jones would make sense. We could probably add him in the 15th. That's pretty early for him, actually. Where is he? He's all the way down at 199. Damn, I don't even want any of these. I mean, the only guy that I would want in this range is if like Donta Foreman falls to me. I don't expect him to. King Cap says, surprise you like Fournette. King Cap, that's just the data, man. Like, the data just says, like, Leonard Fournette should not be drafted in the 18th round. Kind of crazy. Built 2 models this season. Caps out as overall RB9. I don't think that he's going to finish as RB9, but basically this is telling me, like, he's being drafted way too late. My hot take prediction is Leonard Fournette signs with the Kansas City Chiefs and his ADP rises to, like the 8th round at a minimum. But like RB18, he's going to get signed somewhere. It's odd year Lenny. Last year we were on the even year Lenny train. Every single even year he underperforms his ADP. Every single odd year he outperforms his ADP. So it's odd year Lenny. He likes to take every other year off, and this year he's going to be on. I know last year. I mean, like, fantasy football is very emotions driven. I am very data driven, so I like to go against the grain a little bit. Leonard Fournette was drafted in the 2nd round of Best Ball Mania last year. The 2nd round. And it doesn't make sense. He's 27 years old, going the 18th round now. Doesn't make sense. So I'm drafting all of the Leonard Fournette. I think Leonard Fournette is my highest exposure in Best Ball Mania is Leonard Fournette. Actually, in all of Best Ball, Leonard Fournette's my #1 exposure. He's going to get signed somewhere. I guarantee it. He's going to get signed somewhere. Looks like Donta Foreman is sliding. I think I would have to take Donta Foreman on this team, and that would make it, if I want Lenny on this team, like, it would build it out even. Oh, man, I don't know if I want to take Donta here. Donta is set to go off, though. He is set to have that Week 17 boom. Do we go Donta instead of Lenny on this specific team? Maybe. Donta goes. Okay. So we do not take. Oh, this is kind of gross, honestly. I mean, so we have 15, 16, 17, 18. We have 4 picks left. We have to go 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 1 running back, 1 receiver. Screw it. I think we just take Mac Jones. I think we just lock up that 2nd quarterback right now. Because there was a little bit of a run on quarterback. So I'm just going to take Mac Jones here. So I'm not risking missing out on him. I know I'm reaching on him significantly, but I'm okay with that because I'm trying to build out this stack with Juju and potentially Devontae Parker, maybe Mike Gesicki. I know my models don't love Mac Jones. I mean, it has him decently ranked QB22. That's higher than where he's getting drafted right now. I definitely overdrafted him a little bit because I see Mac Jones not even getting drafted in certain drafts. But I needed to lock it up. If this is going to be the $3 million Best Ball Mania winning team, I need to lock up the guys that I'm trying to get. So it feels good because, hot take, New England's going to have a decent offense this year. us over at Fair Analytics, we did some crunching of the numbers to calculate exactly how the scoring output's going to look like for each of these teams in the AFC East. New England puts up solid numbers. So I think they're all getting massively underdrafted. Actually, the Steelers put up decent numbers too. So Kenny Pickett was an option, but I don't have any of the Steelers players, so it didn't make a lot of sense. Mac Jones, on the other hand, I have Juju with the Diggs bring back. So if anybody's going to score touchdowns on the Bills, it's going to be Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen's going to be throwing to Stephon Diggs. So we love that. This team feels like it could be the $3 million winning team, guys. This team feels very, very nice. We just need to close it out with a little Gesicki, Devontae Parker, Leonard Fournette action. If we can close it out in that fashion, I think that closes this team out perfectly. And this is the team, guys. This is the team that's going to take us to the promised land. My weakest spot is my early production wide receiver. But I'm hoping that a combination of Stephon Diggs, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Evans, Juju, and then now Devontae Parker is going to be enough to sustain the production that I need until Jameson Williams. Oh, Leonard Fournette got taken by Duke Make. This guy. Oh, my God, this guy. He's taking the most random picks, and he snipes me twice, both on Odell and Leonard Fournette. Wild, wild, wild stuff, man. Oh, my God. We'll take Mike Gesicki as our tight end, too. Mike Gesicki is a guy that should be pretty decent this year. I mean, he's getting paid $10 million. He's getting he went back to his coach that drafted him, in Bill O'Brien. And I think Bill O'Brien's really going to open up this New England offense, and Mike Gesicki is going to be a pretty featured player in it. So I'm happy that I got Mike Gesicki here along with Mac Jones. Feels like a really nice little duo to have. So we have the Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews duo, the Mike Gesicki, Mac Jones duo. Those are two really solid duos to have, IMO. But the rest of this team feels really nice. We're probably going to tap on Devontae Parker a little bit later. He got paid. He got paid the bag. He got paid very, very nicely. So we'll grab Devontae Parker, and then we'll have to see which running back we want to take because Leonard Fournette was stolen from us. That felt really, really mean that somebody stole Leonard Fournette like that. We could tack on Malik Davis. I actually am going to do that. I like that a lot because we want the running backs in Dallas. So Malik Davis, where you at? We'll tack him on. Jeff Wilson, nice pick. So I think Devontae Parker is going to be this pick here. We have 1, 2. Okay, so our buys are pretty evenly spread out. I think our buys look pretty nice for this team. Our worst one is bye week 9 and 11. J-Mo, Marvin Mims, and Brandon Ayuk have a bye in week 9, but we have Stephon Diggs, Mike Evans, Juju, Rashid Shaheed, and then now Devontae Parker to build that out. A lot bigger New England stack than I intended to go for, but here we are. We're grabbing Devontae Parker. I don't expect Devontae Parker to really do much this year, but if there's one thing he's going to do, it's he's going to put up points against the Buffalo Bills. For some reason, Devontae Parker just plays very, very well against the Buffalo Bills every single time. So we'll go ahead and tack him on. He got paid a lot of money. He's a former first-round pick. So I like adding Devontae Parker. And I'm surprised. That the Patriots paid him that much money. But I like betting on the Patriots. I think that they're going to be a good team this year. Yeah, Jamar at 204 was crazy yesterday. But okay, there's our second to last pick. Our last pick is going to be Malik Davis as it falls to us. The only other guy that I could potentially look at is Pierre Strong, but I would rather have Malik Davis and Pierre Strong. Like I said, building out a wild New England bet. But we have the New England bet with the Buffalo bring back We have the Tampa Bay New Orleans bring back with Mike Evans, Rashid Shaheed. Marvin Mims is naked, but we have the JMO, David Montgomery, Tony Pollard build out. James Conner naked. We have the Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Devin A-Chain bring back. Oh, and we also have the Kendre Miller, Rashid Shaheed, Mike Evans. So we have some pretty nice bets built out. The only other pick that we need is Malik Davis. That would close off a perfect draft. And I am very, very excited for this team. I'm going to dub the title of this roster $3 million winning team, because everything that I have projected, everything that I like, it basically says that this team is going to be phenomenal. So I need to keep tabs on this team, and I will always update you guys on how this team is performing, because this is right now my favorite team that I've drafted so far. Because any team that has the Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews stack is a team that I really, really love. King Cap, thanks for joining. Really appreciate you joining the stream. Appreciate all you guys for supporting the stream. Chet, you betcha. What's up? How you doing, Chet? Alex, tried to come back when you came back, but I missed the start of the second BBM. One more. Sorry, Alex. I have to go meet up with my girlfriend at a coffee shop, help her find a job. So if any of you guys have connections to help my girlfriend find a job, she's a phenomenal teacher, but she's wants to get out of the teaching game, not paid at all. So looking for a different career path. She wants to remain in the education system, but she's open to basically anything. Just something that makes a little bit more money than teachers. She was a preschool teacher, 3 to 5 years old. Her class adored her. She really loved her class, but time to try something else. But I think that's going to do it for us today, guys. Our $3 million winning team, which I did not expect this draft to go this way. Hopefully it doesn't get canceled because of Duke Make. But Duke Make sniped us a bunch of times, so hopefully we're live. But Lamar Jackson, Mac Jones at quarterback, Tony Pollard, David Montgomery, James Conner, Devin A-Chain, Kendre Miller, Malik Davis at running back, Stephon Diggs, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Evans, Jamison Williams, Juju Smith-Schuster, Marvin Mims, Rashid Shaheed, Devontae Parker at wide receiver, and Mark Andrews, Mike Gesicki at tight end. That's going to do it for us today, folks. Really appreciate you joining on the stream. I'll be back tomorrow, noon, like I always do. But stay strong, guys. Peace.